We're speaking with Michael Shahani today, Director of Operations for Nebraska Cultures. Michael, can you tell us a little bit about the history of probiotics, how that came to be?
Sure, Tom. Probiotics are live bacteria that when they're in an organism like a human or an animal of any kind, produce some kind of beneficial effect. They give some kind of benefit to the host organism. And if, of course, we're talking about humans, then we're the host organism. Mm-hmm. So probiotics are bacteria that give us some kind of benefit. Probiotics have been around for thousands of years, and even the use has been around for thousands of years. But it's only been roughly in the last 100 years that a lot of research has been done on the beneficial properties of bacteria in our body.
What are some of the common foods that people might have consumed in these thousands of years and when they've...
Yeah, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. The kinds of foods that people used to eat more than they eat now are really the kinds of foods that have more probiotic activity than we get in today's diet. Things like fermented vegetables, meats, dairy products, mostly fermented kinds of food products, things like sauerkraut, yogurt, different kinds of sausage. Of course, in the East we have things like miso and tempeh and tofu, kimchi. So those kinds of products are the kinds of products that are produced by bacteria that have fermented in the food.
So in our systems internally, we have all of this, what is basically a friendly bacteria that is helping us.
That's right. Our bodies need friendly bacteria to survive. There's all kinds of bacteria in our body. Fortunately, only less than 1% are unhealthy bacteria. But if those unhealthy bacteria get out of hand, out of balance, they start to grow too much, proliferate, we call that. If they over-proliferate, then we're going to get sick. And to a large extent, it's the friendly bacteria that keep those unhealthy bacteria from taking over.
Now, you mentioned about 100 years ago that there began to be research into probiotics. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's right. Actually, 100 years ago this year is the anniversary of a book by the Dr. Ilya Menshnikov, a Russian scientist. In 1908, published a book called The Prolongation of Life. In fact, you can go to the library and find that book today. It's a very interesting book. And it's about a lot of different things, but one section in that book, he talks about a theory that he had that people in the Balkan area of Europe, meaning what's now Bulgaria, Romania, Macedonia, northern Greece, those areas, had a very, very long lifespan. Many people in those villages, in these remote and primitive villages, living to well over 100 years old. And his theory was that their longevity was in part due to the fact that they ate large amounts of these fermented products, primarily dairy products, things like yogurt.
Okay.
So he published this book in 1908, and ever since then, scientists have started to take a look at these kinds of bacteria and see, what health properties they have.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Michael.